Hey y'all. So I put some Reader's Digest books that were prepped for making altered books up for sale. And I had a few people ask me, how do you make these? How are they altered? What do you do with them? How do you use them? So I said, well, you know what? I'm thinking about doing a video explaining. So this is that video. So we go and we find Reader's Digest at garage sales and resale shops. Sorry, just had people and critters walk through. So we find these vintage Reader Digest, and those of us who junk journal, we like the covers that are unique, different prints. And then we take these books and sometimes dismantle the whole thing and just use the cover. But in the case of an altered book, we leave the pages in. And on this one, what I'm doing is I'm actually keeping The Secret of Annie Oakley, the entire story. And then I'm going to take the rest of the book and alter it with Annie Oakley themed art and papers and things, sort of Western themed stuff. So what we do is we go through, normally we go several pages in from the front, and we start ripping out a section of pages, usually about 5 pages. Here I ripped out from page 148 to 169, which is probably 4 to 5 pages. You don't want to rip out so many at a time in a section that you break your spine. You want to keep the spine intact. And then we'll flip through. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, and I ripped out another section of pages. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 pages, and I ripped out another section of pages. Now notice I did leave some of the junk in here. That's because I don't want to rip so far into the spine that I ruin the spine. And then what we'll do is we'll decide, okay, what kind of pocket do I want here? Or do I want a solid page? And if I want a solid page to build on or do artwork on, paint, draw, glue papers to, whatever, then I'll just glue these two together. Okay, and then you don't see this mess in here. Okay, you do see the gaps here, but you won't see it in the actual book itself. Now also, here's the other trick. When you're gluing these pages together, don't lay them down, because they will fan out like this. And then when you start to move them, they're gonna crinkle and just not be pretty. When you're gluing these things together, you wanna pull up on the pages as you're gluing them. Now, if I decided to make this some sort of a pocket, say like I want a triangle shaped top loading pocket, I'll just fold a page, glue this flap down, which reinforces this edge because they are vintage pages and sometimes they're really fragile. And then I will run glue here and here and glue this together. And then when it dries, I'll have a pocket here. Now, if you're aging your book, you'll want to ink or paint, or however you enjoy aging your edges, it's a lot easier to do that first before you glue these things together. And I'll show you an example of one that I am working on decorating right now as a junk journal. But if you're just patient, you can come through. Now, if you have a hard time ripping these out, you can take a pair of scissors and come in here and do this. You could put a piece of plastic sheeting up against some of the pages and lay your pages over on that and use a craft knife to cut these out. I just rip them out, and then I save the pages. I save all the pages from my Reader's Digest books, and I use the images from the books. Some are really, really cool. These are pretty cool. And then I also use the pages that I don't like, or that don't have images on them, to make other things thicker, like journaling cards or journal tags. You'll see a bunch of us using up book pages. That's because we've ripped them out of somewhere else, and we don't want to throw them away. We want to use them. We want to utilize those papers. So we'll go through and save the images that we like, and then use the text pages. Now, a lot of times, because Reader's Digest have a lot of off-putting words in them, I'll say, a lot of times I will use these in between layers. Like, I'll take a pretty tag or a pretty piece of paper, glue this to it, and then back it with something else, because I don't read all of this, but I know for a fact that Reader's Digest are not always so, because of some of the language that's used in the books. In my finished product, you won't actually see a lot of text from Reader's Digest books. So let me show you an example of one that I've been working on, and I say been working on, I had to put it aside. Here's all my junk that I'm using. I'm using other horse books. There's another book that I took stuff out of for working on this journal. And this one is sort of, it's been stored in a cabinet. And you can see another decorative cover. And in here, I took this was a book page, and I made a pocket. And then I've started a base of a card with coffee dyed paper for this pocket. I found a horse themed envelope, stuck it in here. Just different papers. This is another image from a book. I really liked this book. There were quite a few images in here. Now, I glued the first couple of pages together so that they were stiffer at the beginning of the journal. Kept this original image in here. These two pages I glued together. And then this is scrapbook paper. And this is coffee dyed paper here that I used to make a little pocket. And in here I put some vintage playing cards and a geography facts card. And then I made a pocket on this side and a double pocket on this side. So in between, I don't know if you can see that, there are pages removed. And in this pocket, I made a journaling card and put in this pocket. I covered the text up with a piece of a paper lunch bag. This came out of a calendar or a magazine. On this side, I took some note paper and stuck in this pocket. This was also an image out of a book. And then this also came out of a book. And I just made it thicker where it felt more like a card and it could be more easily written on. There's a pocket here where I glued 2 pages of the Reader's Digest together and made a large pocket. Put some coffee dyed lined paper here. This is just notebook paper to get in your school section. Another piece of a book, and I'm working on making a booklet. So there's a pocket here, and then there's a pocket here. And then there's an image of a horse scene here. And what I did is I just tucked one side of that into this pocket. Here I'm working on this card that's going to go into this pocket up here. This came from a magazine. This from a book. This is a digital printable, I believe from Artie Mays. More notebook paper back here, and I just thickened it up with book pages, covered it all up, and then I'm gonna glue this image to here and do something here to make this a journaling card. More book pages, more paper bag here, and you can see how much stuff I have stuck in here where I'm working. Here I have another piece of a book page with horses on it. Another horse here. And here I made a multi-layered pocket. This is scrapbook paper. This is scrapbook paper. So this fits back in here. Another pocket I made here. These were book pages. These were printables. And I just made a booklet with a top loading and a bottom loading pocket here. And put that in here. And I'll just keep adding things, adding layers. And this book is another one where I chose to keep one of the stories. And because I'm doing a cowboy theme in this one, the Good Old Boys is what I kept as a Western story. So not only can you journal in this, but you can also read the entire story. And then so skip the story, and here starts another section. And this is a piece of book page out of an art magazine that I made a pocket out of. And it's a work in progress. Here's an envelope that I tore apart because I liked the print on the inside of the envelope, and I'll use that in here. Another image from an art magazine, scrapbooking paper, more paper bags, coffee dyed paper. This was an advertisement in the back of a tourist magazine that I got on a trip. It was informational about the area, and there was a gallery that had this piece in it that they were advertising, so I kept that. So you can take these and you can alter them just like your regular journals. Just takes a little bit more patience because you're using a pre-made book. Anyway, I hope this answers some questions that everyone was asking this morning and last night. So if you would like to purchase any of the pre-prepped books that I have, they are over on my Facebook page. And I'll link that information below, or it's going to be linked in my bio if you're on my TikTok. Okay, this is one of the books that I have for sale. And I'll show you, I'll go through and show you how it's prepped. So I've not glued any pages together in here at all. I just went through and, ooh, I say not at all. Apparently I glued these two together. I must have felt like it needed to be thicker in the front. Here, I removed pages. I folded this one over. And then when you glue these two together, you'll have a side loading pocket. Or you can change how it looks. You could glue multiple pages together to make it thicker. You have the ability to ink or stain or adjust this however you want. And then a few pages in, here's another section I removed. Folded this over to make a pocket, and then on this side, I clipped this with a circle punch so that it could be a side loading pocket. So you would glue here and here, fold your page up, hold your page up as you're gluing, and then you would have a large pocket here and another pocket here. And then on this side, I decided to add another pocket here and a top loading pocket here with a thumb notch. And then here's another section where I removed pages and folded this over so there could be a pocket here. So basically these are all prepped by me removing pages and making suggested pockets. And then you take these and do what you want with them. Okay, so I have a few that are for sale now. I did sell one. I think I just have 2 left right now. They're very affordable because I'm destashing things. Here is where I removed pages. The next page I folded over. The next page I folded over. So there will be a pocket here and a pocket here, and then there's a large pocket on this side. And it just continues through the entire book. And you can see here where I've removed pages. Okay, thanks for watching, y'all.